I recognize the privilege and responsibility that I now have to introduce this celebration of life for our dear friend, mentor, boss, leader, son, father, grandfather, and husband. For over 40 years, the Mouna family have allowed us to sit at their family table and, in a way, share Rex. I am confident that most of the time this was a pleasure and a privilege to have so many of us enjoy Rex in his company. But I'm also sure at times it was not easy, but none of us ever felt that. We, all of us FBOs, have always felt welcome and part of the biggest family table in the world. And most of us, in our own way, have asked this unique family to scooch up a bit and allow us to sit at their table. For that, I would imagine all of you, as I am, are immensely grateful. But because it was this closeness, this intimacy and welcome that made us feel better. It filled us and made us want to strive harder and to be more. Rex and his family are unique in this. There are no prerequisites, entrance fees, skin color, language, or education requirements to pull up a chair at their table. It was come as you are, but do not expect to stay as you are. So on behalf of over 10 million FBOs who are currently registered, and the millions who have connected with us over the years, I say thank you. Thank you to Rex, and thank you to Todd, Sony, Greg, and Ruth for helping us to see further, to reach higher, and to love more. So over the next few moments, we will meet many of the people who Rex touched. Of course, it is not a complete list. It would be impossible and futile to even attempt to encapsulate everything that Rex achieved. His life was massive, but personal, global, yet intimate. He towered above us all, but was always willing to kneel with us. For those who participate in the program, thank you. We appreciate you being our voice. And I think in their faces, you will recognize your experiences, and hopefully it will inspire you to want to continue to reach far beyond where you are now. It was said to me recently that anyone that stood in front of Rex for more than a couple of minutes became his friend. I would like to add to that, not only were you friends, but you'd go away feeling that you were the most important person in the world and you had a purpose and a job to do. And may I suggest now, as we honor that legacy, we can embrace his mantra, there is no problem that cannot be solved with an increase in sales. Enjoy a few moments reminiscing as we celebrate the life and legacy of our friend, mentor, boss, leader, son, father, grandfather, and husband, Mr. Rex G. Mouna. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for, we recognize this is such a private and personal and difficult time to say goodbye to a husband, to say goodbye to a father. It's not easy. And yet here you are willing to share such personal and private things with so many people. There will be hundreds of thousands of people watching this, you know. As we move through these questions, I just want you to make sure that you know how much we love you and what an important part of our lives each one of you are in your own way. Ruth, we didn't see you at the office every day, but there was absolutely no doubt that what an amazing part of our lives that you were. Same with Sony, we didn't see you every day, but the contribution that you made, whether it be on stage or in a small conversation somewhere, it was unique and personal and powerful. And Greg, who we see day to day, is a lot more like Rex than probably he wants to admit. Mm-hmm. You know, in the way that he demands the best of you and hopes for the best, and he is very personal with the people. But Ruth, if you don't mind, we've all heard the folklore about the start of Forever. We've all heard the stories, and it was like this and like that, and the name change and all these different things that went on at the time. When you were sat at that, was that in Mesa? You guys living in Mesa then?
No,
we were in Central.
In
Central Avenue.
When it started?
Yeah.
When that first, I'm sure it didn't happen immediately. The stories or, you know, Rex was out getting an idea, getting things together. What was it like in the house at that time when he was starting to think about this idea? Do you remember those days?
You know, I was very calm about it. When he brought the little bottle of lotion to me, I said, he just said, try this. He didn't tell me, okay? He didn't tell me what he was doing, what he was up to. But I quickly learned, when Rex came up with an idea, you better be ready. And so I just took the bottle and said, yeah, you know, I like it. It's great. And then he told me, well, this is what we're going to be doing. And, you know, I was a little bit shocked, but I had a lot of confidence in him. And, you know, I was ready to go with it.
Fantastic. Do you, did you have any idea it would become what it did?
No, no way in the world. No way did I think that little bottle of lotion would go all over the world. But, so it was an amazing journey.
Yeah. Would you say that you were excited or humbled or both? How would you describe that, looking back over the 44 years? Is that what it is about?
Oh, yeah, now.
You know, we just kind of went step by step.
Right.
And I just enjoyed the journey, and was, after a while, never amazed, you know, at what was happening, because it just kind of happened without you really noticing, you know. I mean, it was just, we were just having fun, enjoying it.
Wow, that's such an amazing observation. Was there any part of that journey you look back at and you say, at that moment it changed, like you suddenly realized this is going to be something unique, or was it, like you said, just a slow sort of boiling of the frog type thing, you know?
Yeah, we just, I don't know, we just all felt like such a family that it was just a family thing. And so I don't know that I ever really realized how big it was. I just went with it.
I love that. Now, you say it's like a family, and you guys have all seen the thousands and thousands of messages just littering the internet. We've had flowers and cards and posts and, you know, everything. And it's just been incredible, the outpouring of love. And one of the things that's common with a lot of the expressions is this: Rex was like a father to me. And I know personally that was probably easily the most amazing part of my professional life, was that relationship with Rex. Was he just made you feel so special. But we all said that he was like a father. For you two, he was your father. And that's a very, very real distinction, a very real difference. So Sony, what was it like growing up in the Mouna household?
Well, I think we were normal, like everyone else. We worked hard. That was probably the first thing that I think Dad taught us, is that we all worked hard, and if we worked hard, then we could play hard. And so we got our chores done, and he'd always take us and go do things. You know, he taught us to be trustworthy. He taught us to be honest, and to take care of other people, to serve. And there was always fun. Always fun and crazy stuff. You know, life was never dull with our dad. Yeah. It was just, I thought, normal. He took care of us when we were younger, and we all played ball. He was our coach for all three of us. I don't know how he did that. We'd be at the ballpark every night, and that was fun. He took a lot of interest in us in those early days.
And with the grandkids too. Because
Yes.
I know that you were always at your kids, my kids' games, you know, and he was always the last to leave.
Yeah.
That was one thing that, even at Jack and Sam's games, you know, at my kids, it was incredible. He's saying hi to everybody.
I think we all have that problem. We're the last ones to leave.
The 3-hour goodbye.
Right? I mean, I just think we have to close it up, you know?
What a great trait, though. Now, you say it was normal, and there's one thing that maybe some don't know is Rex's quirky sense of humor. And you say it was always fun. Tell me a little bit more about his dad joke type style of life, you know?
Well, when he taught us all how to ski, and we were pretty young, about 7, and I was probably 9, and Todd was probably 13, and we were scared to death, but he was all over the mountain having a great time, and we got up on the chairlift, and he'd spot us, and he'd say, hey man, whoop man, don't eat the yellow snowman. And we were like, what is he talking about, you know? And, but those kinds of things just endeared us to him.
Yeah.
And he just always had little quirky sayings that he would do. He'd go, whoop, whoop,
Whoop, whoop.
you know? And he did that a lot with us, and especially when he couldn't remember something or someone's name, or trying to get the grandkids' attention, and the great-grandkids now. He always had cute little noises, things that were just very, very endearing.
Yeah. I can promise you that those cute noises transferred from the kitchen table to the boardroom. Because Greg and I have been in many places having he goes, whoop, 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 whoop. And we'd be streaking through an airport or something, and then we'd hear it, you know, and it was like, that's him as a father, and Greg, you had him as a boss. And you mentioned the other day that Rex was the same at home and at work. So what was he like as a boss?
Like a dad. Same thing. He really was genuine, and you know, didn't change when he came to the office. He was still, you know, Rex, and he was a tough boss, you know, in many ways, but very fair, and always follow through with what he has told you. You know, if he said, you do this and I'll do this for you, he always came through with that. And just amazing how he created this family culture within Forever. And, you know, I can remember all the Christmas parties that we would have, or the get-togethers. You may not know this, and Navaz will know this, but Ruth and Rex would invite, Rex bought this ranch, right? That started the whole ranching direction, and it was called Z Triangle. And Ruth and Rex invited all the executives at that time of Forever and their families to come up and stay in one house. And it was kind of a big house, thankfully, right? But they would come up for the 4th of July, and we did that for many years, and got to know the kids of the you know, because we were kids then, and became really good friends with them, and it was always a family type feeling. If you ask any of the employees here that have been here for 20, 30 years, they'll remember back to those Christmas parties, and you know, having the same Santa Claus come.
Right.
Well, I mean, it was Santa Claus, right?
For decades.
Come, and it was just amazing, the little things he would do to make you feel a part of his Forever family. Yeah. And I know millions have felt that, and that was the same here. And that was the same for me working with him. He didn't treat me as his son per se, I felt like most of the time. It was more of, get to work. What are you doing? Show some results. And I really appreciate that, because he instilled a work ethic in me that I'm proud of now. And that's really important to me.
I was going to ask you that question actually about, did you feel that he treated you any differently because you were his kid?
I mean, yes, in some ways. I mean, it's natural, right? We're human beings. Right. But, you know, he made me go through the rank.
Oh, yeah.
And we always tell the story of me starting in the warehouse, and that's true. I started in the warehouse and went through all the different departments, and that was because, and it was, you know, at times I was like, why can't I just jump to the next level, right? But now looking back, that was really an important education for me. You know, forget the college education that I got. This was much more important, to learn the Forever way. And the only way you can do that really is to go through the motions and be able to see everything. And now I have such a more deep understanding because of that. You know, that was extremely helpful to me.
Yeah, when we always had a marketing plan question, we'd go to Greg, because Greg had spent so many years working for Kathy and Marcy, and you'd learn a lot that way. all of these experiences, he traveled the world constantly, and he always used to say to us, you know, I've slept more nights on a plane than I've had in my own bed. You've all heard that, right?
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
But as COVID hit and the traveling stopped, and even a little before that, you know, he'd slowed down just a little bit. You had the chance to spend some more time with him at home. How was that experience?
You know, that was really special because I got to know Rex in a different way. And it was the most that he had ever been home in our whole marriage. And I got to know of his sweetness, his kindness, his gratitude, and we just had special times, and it was really a gift to me.
Wow. So COVID was, and I know you recognize the suffering more than anybody, but the opportunity to be together was something unique.
It was. It was really sweet.
That's beautiful. You mentioned gratitude. I think that's one thing about Rex, is he always said thank you. Always. When I look back, he always thank you. And even on one of the videos you'll see later in the program, one of the lawyers he worked with always commented about the fact that he always was grateful for the stuff that you did. Now, Sonia, I know that you had a similar experience. You've been busy raising your family and going through all of that process. Rex has been traveling the world, and through the last couple of years, you've had the chance to spend a lot of great time with him. And a very personal question, and forgive me for it, but what do you think you learned from your dad in the last few years of his life that maybe you didn't know before?
He's really selfless. And I mean, here in this last little bit, when he was confined to his bed because of health issues, he'd say every day to me, "Son, take care of the people." And, you know, at first I kind of thought, okay, Dad, all right, you know. But as time has progressed and him being gone, I realized what he was telling me is to watch after. And that's who he was. I mean, on his dying deathbed, he was worried about everyone else but himself. And I knew that about him, but I think when you see someone suffer and they're not concerned about themselves, and they're worried about other people, I think that really magnified to me how important that was.
Beautiful. Is it fair to say that when when life squeezes us, you see the real person come out?
Absolutely.
Is that a fair observation? Is that something you witnessed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because all of the words you used to describe are exactly what we know him to be, you know? Now, Greg, your relationship with your dad was a lot of time on stage. A lot of time on a plane, a lot of time with people, you know, and I've sat in thousands of meetings with you and Rex, and as you look back now, each one of those experiences becomes more and more important to you, obviously, as, you know, the opportunity to carry on doing it is gone. What do you think that you will take away from those experiences? What did you learn from watching him perform as Rex on stage, but also perform as Rex at home?
I guess the first thing I would say is that I will never be Rex. That's what I've learned. I learned that a long time ago. You know, I can remember being somewhere, Greece maybe, or somewhere, a long time ago when I was 30 maybe, and someone saying, "Why don't you get more social like Rex is," or something like that. And that really struck me at that time, that I realized I'm not Rex, I'm Greg, right? And although I've learned many important lessons from my dad, I learned that I'm not going to fill his shoes. I need to be who I am. And that was important for me, and Rex allowed me to be who I am. He didn't want me, he knew I wouldn't be Rex either, right? And so I think that was really important. I learned that he allowed me to be who I am and develop into who I am. And I think that's important for any father to learn, to let their kids be who they are. You always have these expectations, right? But in the end, you have to let them be who they are and let them be best at what they're at. And Rex was great at that. you know, I mean, gosh, there's so many memories and experiences that we've gone through. I would say another really important lesson I've learned is to never quit. Even though as hard as it gets and as painful as it may be, you don't quit. If you really love something, you have passion for it, you believe in it, doesn't matter how hard it gets, you keep going. And I learned that through many, many experiences with Rex. And just simple ones like you said, standing on stage. I mean, you remember the 8 or 9 hour days we would have standing on stage, and my feet killing me, and I just wanted to go sit in the tub and get some dinner and relax, right? And Rex would always be the one to say, no, we are staying. I'm gonna take pictures with anyone that was here that didn't get a picture yet. Yeah. And sometimes that would be an hour, 2 hours more, and he would. And it just amazing, an amazing example of caring for those out there, wanting to make them feel important, and never quitting. And I think each one of us can learn that. If we really want to go after something, we got to have Rex's spirit of never quitting. And it's going to get tough, it's going to get hard, it's going to be painful. You got to just grit your teeth. And I remember he'd grit his teeth and he'd go forward, right? And that was an incredible example to me.
Awesome. He was a force of nature. There was no doubt about it. Sony, as you look forward now, and you got grandkids all around you, and you know, and your family starts to spread out. What is it you think that you would like them to remember about Bumper?
Dad was a great philanthropist, and he always had a cause, and that's something that moving forward with my kids, I want to teach, because I just feel like in today's world, those things are being dropped on the wayside, and so I want to keep that alive in his memory, and teach my family that we look outside of ourselves, and we go out to help others, and to make it a better world. And I think along with what Greg said also, that we don't quit. He always said, I can. And it was never about feeling defeated. He constantly, he wasn't afraid of anything. And I think that was to his advantage. We wouldn't be here where we are if he had those kinds of fears. And so I want my kids to know that too, that they can accomplish and be whoever they want to be.
That is so poignant, that he wasn't afraid of anything. Because that is so true, and when you think about it, you know, there was nothing that... Ruth, where did that courage come from?
He was born with it.
Really? He came out like that, with a pair of skis on and
right?
Yeah, he was. That's who I've known all these years. He, just like the Greg and Sony said, is that he never was afraid to attempt anything. If he believed in it, then he went with it. And
that was contagious too, right? Is in the family, and then into the forever family further on. How much of that courage came from his faith, do you believe?
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure a lot. A lot from the way he was raised, and you know, he learned to work with the family and to work hard and to be responsible, and I just think that was just who Rex was.
We talked about compassion, we talked about courage, we talked about selflessness, gratitude. You know, when you think about at the end of your life, what you'd want people to say about you, there's not much else you'd want, really. Love, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, and as I've got a question for each one of you now, the same question, if you don't mind, and how best could we, as a family of forever business owners, and the thousands that are watching, how can we continue and grow Rex's legacy? Ruth, could I ask you that question?
You know, I think we've said it many times, that the last few words that he spoke before he left us was, take care of the people. And I think that's what he would want us to do, is to be mindful of them and to carry that on.
Beautiful. Sony?
He always said to me these last 2 months, what's next, Son? What's next? So I think that he wants us to always keep going after our dreams and progress and not sit on the wayside and be remorseful or sad that we need to pick ourselves up. And he was always looking for what was next, even though he couldn't even get up. He was looking for what was next.
Very true. Greg?
I ditto what they say, and I would say, keep talking. Rex always talked. He talked, he talked, he talked. Anyone he could find, he talked, right? And I think that's what also he would want us to do, is don't stop talking about him, about the company, about the products, about the opportunity, about sharing, about caring. Talk. Open your mouth and talk and take action, because things happen right after that. Usually good things happen right after that.
I think great advice. Oh, excuse me. All of us that are watching this are humbled by that and grateful for you spending time with us.
I think if he could speak to us now, he would say to all of us, all over the world, go meet someone and make a difference in their life.
Go meet someone and make a difference in their life. I can't think of a better way to end this intimate moment, this wonderful opportunity to spend time with wonderful Ruth and beautiful Sony and powerful Greg. We love you guys, and it's a great responsibility of mine to speak on behalf of all of them, but I know they'd say, we love you, we appreciate you, we want to do what's best for you. So let's go out and help the people, right?
That's right.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How fitting that a man who was such a profound lover of story would be the protagonist in so many himself. The epic of Reksa Mouna, international entrepreneur, businessman, and humanitarian, began humbly in November of 1936 in the southeast highlands of Idaho. There, at 6,000 feet above sea level, rests a quiet valley where cold, rippling rivers and creeks provide excellent trout fishing, where vast fields of grain wave in the breeze, and where cattle graze lazily in the mountain pastures. If not for its natural beauty, one wouldn't find much remarkable about the town that sits at the base of this valley, the community of Soda Springs. But once told the story of its most extraordinary character, you'd be hard-pressed to ever forget it. That was Reksa Mouna, son of an Idaho state policeman turned land farmer, William G. Mouna, and Laura P. Corneliuson, and brother to Jerry, Brent, and Sue. The fantastical stories Rex read in his childhood were his earliest calling to explore the world and seek out its many adventures. It would take another 84 years to recount the innumerable tales and legends associated with Rex, a man who left an imprint on the world wider than 1,000 Idaho valleys, and yet made every person whose path he ever crossed feel like the only person on the planet. Of course, in those early days, he was just an ordinary boy named Rex.
I'm R.J. Lloyd. I'm Vice President and CFO. And I've known Rex for a long time. We attended school together and grammar school. I was practicing law in Boise, Idaho, when Rex came to me and said, "Hey, I need your help to sell my aloe vera." He then asked if I could become his counsel. And becoming his counsel meant a lot. Know that he was well aware of the benefits of aloe vera, and he spread that word worldwide. I want to thank Rex for the opportunity to help him build Forever Living products. I miss him greatly. He was a great friend and a great one to know.
Rex was a truly authentic man of faith. His relationship with God put him on a path to service starting in his youth and guided him onward and upward as he grew as an entrepreneur. His values never wavered, always put others first, led with passion, be forever grateful, and the core philosophies he lived by were the same ones he built his business around. In a world driven by ego, Rex had a passion for selfless acts. He was known to say, "Let's do the right thing first and worry about the money later." And he meant it. He was not one to take shortcuts if it meant doing harm. His faith drove his integrity, and he found the greatest joy in life through giving back to others.
Rex was a man of, if he understood it and got it and believed in it, then get out of the way, because it's going to happen. And he would figure out how to make it happen. My personal relationship with Rex and Ruth go back many years. And back in the days when we were at Brigham Young University, we were trying to determine exactly what we ought to do about strengthening and building up BYU television, which required significant resources to do. And when I was discussing our need and what we were trying to do with Rex and Ruth, Rex adopted BYU TV. And the amount of help and resources that Rex and Ruth have given to the Brigham Young University television efforts are almost unlimited. And frankly, the church deeply appreciates their contributions, not only there, but in the many other ways that they have done wonderful things. Now, I've been with Rex a lot of different places. And he is a man who, wherever you are, the person in front of him is automatically a friend. He is gregarious and outgoing and inquisitive. You can be with somebody, a total stranger, for a minute or two, and by the time you're getting ready to leave, 5 minutes later, we have all all their family history almost. He's just a people person. There are not a lot of them that are as natural in that kind of a relationship and as good at it as Reksa Mouna. I say that I've lost a very dear and a wonderful friend. But I'm 92 and we might turn pretty soon, I suppose, and we'll be friendly and about our Heavenly Father's work when I meet him on the other side of the veil. And Rex and Ruth, I say to you, you're a queen, and one of the reasons he was able to do what he did was because of his absolute support and love that you continually gave to him. So we say goodbye for a short season, and I say goodbye to a very dear friend. I hope the Lord's blessings, Ruth, will be with you and your family at this time. And again, I would be with you if it was possible. So thank you for letting me just make these brief comments at the services for my dear friend, Reksa Mouna.
Faith was a consistent thread in his life, and it was faith that led Rex to his first grand global adventure that changed everything. If you asked a 19-year-old Reksa Mouna to point to Samoa on a map, he wouldn't have known what ocean to start looking in. But there he was, in 1956, fresh off 1 year in college at Utah State, boarding the SS Sierra in the port of Los Angeles for a 12-day, 5,000-mile journey to the remote island in the South Pacific. Up until this point, Rex hadn't been exposed to much of the world. He had made his own way down from Soda Springs through Utah and finally to Phoenix for a winter working at a bank. But that trajectory was far too unremarkable for our main character. So along with 5 other young men from BYU, he heeded the call of faith and volunteered as a missionary for a 30-month stint. Preparing for the mission was a crash course in all things Samoa, starting with the language, which Rex had all of 2 weeks to practice from scratch. Then there was the island culture, which was unlike anything Rex had ever experienced. But from the moment he came ashore, the land and its people had his heart. Rex performed humanitarian work in cities and villages all over the island for 2.5 years, serving with distinction in many leadership positions. His eyes were fully open to the world that existed beyond his own, and he understood then that his true mission in life, to help others, would never end. He fell in love with Samoa, and its people never left his mind. Not when he sailed back home at age 22, not when he started Forever Living, and certainly not when he decorated his office. The boy from Soda Springs had taken the trip of a lifetime, and he knew one thing for certain: he would be back.
My name is Harold Green. I first became acquainted with Reksa Mouna about 65 years ago. We were in the South Pacific and the Samoan Islands together. I had been there for about 6 months before Rex came, and the day that he came, I can still remember. Him and 4 or 5 other young men came with him. And I recall when the group came to the office where we were welcoming them, I thought just then even that is a very impressive guy. I recall that one of the first things that happened after we had been assigned together, we had a motorcycle that they gave to us to get around in the island. And this one day, Rex was, he was the one that got on the motorcycle first, so I jumped on behind him and we were going to take off. And as I did that, I put my arms completely around him, also his arms, which were on the motorcycle. And doing so, his hands turned the gas even more. The motorcycle was running, and through the fence we went. One of our first things together that we were able to accomplish. But I can tell you that during that time, knowing Rex, getting to know him, he was absolutely so impressive. I had never met a person so young that could remember people's names and faces, foreign, if you will, someone, not knowing the language in the beginning, and yet he had such a capacity for doing that. And he learned the language very quickly, and he learned to love the people. I think back of the things that he has done for the country of Samoa, and it is amazing. Saved a rainforest. People were cutting it down, and and they were selling the wood to these people so they could build a school. Rex comes in and stops the cutting down of the trees, builds a school. While he was later in life, after we all came home from our missions, he founded the Robert Louis Stevenson Foundation. He has such a great way about him, and I suppose that that's probably why people has loved him so much. He's going to be missed. There never will be another Rex Mouna.
After returning from his mission trip, Rex took on a new purpose and direction in life. He had taken a break from his education after a year at Utah State, but now realized that in order to reach the new goals he had set for himself and make an impact on the world, he needed an education. He enrolled at Brigham Young University and resumed his studies. It was there that he met another student by the name of Ruth, who needed a little help with her tennis game. Rex was more than happy to give her a few pointers on her serve, and soon the two became doubles partners in life, marrying in 1960. The couple went on adventures together from the beginning, including a water skiing trip that introduced a sunburned Rex to the aloe vera plant. And while it would be another decade plus before aloe became the Mouna family business, it wasn't too much longer before the Mouna family grew. Rex and Ruth moved to Arizona shortly after getting married and had their first child. Todd, Sonia, and Greg tailed closely behind. Fast forward, and 3 kids became 12 grandchildren and 16 great-grandchildren. Rex's family legacy is his greatest accomplishment and what drove him to such great success in business and philanthropy. He included his family in so many aspects of his businesses and knew teaching them the importance of hard work was invaluable. Family was not only witness to his earliest ventures, but essential to its success, and their involvement remained throughout the growth of Forever. This cultivation would continue to be passed down to his grandchildren and great-grandchildren as strong work ethic and perseverance continue to be at the core of Bumpa's life lessons.
On behalf of Rex Mouna's grandchildren, we would love to share some of our memories of our Bumpa. A couple of great memories of him that we've thought about over the last couple of days are, he used to take pictures all of the time, and he would take them from his chest. He was the original candid picture taker. He had thousands of these pictures, and we loved him for it. As you know, our Bumpa loves Samoa. He took us there when we were children, and we were able to see this beautiful land. We were so lucky to see our Bumpa actually eat McDonald's hamburgers in Samoa. It was amazing. We were very shocked and surprised, but he told us they were better in Samoa. He showed us how to interact with others and how to love those we come in contact with. We are so grateful for his memory, and his legacy will live in us forever.
Rex earned his degree in business administration from Arizona State University. One of Rex's early entrepreneurial wins was a car wash, the first of its kind in Tempe, Arizona. He didn't just buy it, he built it. And for over a year, he and Ruth staffed it and cleaned it themselves until they got profitable enough to hire someone. He later took a job with Mayer Central Building Corporation, developing his exceptional skills in leasing, managing, and the administration of offices, hotels, apartment projects, and resort complexes in Arizona and New York. In his early career, Rex gained experience establishing and managing large conglomerates. He also found a passion for real estate and the relationship between man and the natural world. And while he achieved great success, he never lost sight of his mission and values. As Rex grew his business acumen, he landed at Dell Web Corporation, where he blossomed over the course of 13 years, working his way up to the position of vice president.
Yes, my name is Marv Todd. I met Rex in the summer of 1967 when I was interviewing for a job with the Dell Web Corporation. I was later hired to work for Rex in the commercial division of the Dell Web Corporation, leasing office space. I didn't know how to lease office space, but Rex took me under his wing to teach me. As time went on, and I spent time both in the building office, in construction, and then came back up to be Rex's property manager for all the properties around the nation. Rex and I traveled, and we went to every building and spent time with every manager. And as I walked with Rex and worked with Rex and listened to Rex, I prospered and I grew. Rex really cared about all of our managers around the country and would bring them to town several times during my time with Rex. We would go to Cottonwood Cove. We went to Lake Powell after we got the recreational properties going and spend time with the managers, just communicating to them who we were and what a great organization they belong to. And, you know, you've died and gone to heaven when you worked with Rex Mon working on that team. It just was good. It was team building, and that was Rex's format. He always made me feel important. Marv, you're doing a great job. No, I can't give you more money, but I can. I'll spend time with you, and you'll be more valuable to yourself when you're through with me than you are now. And I always felt that was the way of it. When Rex left Dell Web, I left very soon after, and I had a whole bag of experience in my pocket that took me on through life. life after Webb and life after walking with Rex for so many years. It was good. It was profitable. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Thank you, Rex. Thank you, Rex. And goodbye.
Rex's passion for health and wellness spilled over into his love for nature and the outdoors, and the two went hand in hand with the development of Forever Resorts, which began as a concessionaire for the National Park Service. Rex made his first acquisitions in 1981. Calville Bay Resort and Marina on Lake Mead and Cottonwood Cove Resort and Marina on Lake Mojave. Through the years, Rex was consistent in his message that we don't have to be the biggest, we just want to be the best. He stayed true to that philosophy while expanding lodging and concessions into some of his favorite places, which happen to be some of America's most well-known national parks, recreation areas, and national forests, including the Grand Canyon, Grand Tetons, Bryce Canyon, Isle Royale, among many others. It was a great joy for Rex to connect people with natural wonders, expanding horizons and opening minds, just as his were on that trip to Samoa in his early 20s.
I'm John Chapman, and the Executive Vice President of Resorts, and I've known Rex for 47 years and started working for him, and with Rex, he liked everybody. He went and talked to everybody. He whether you were a cleaner or whatever your job was, Rex made everybody feel the same, that everybody was important, and he did that so much. And I think our managers and stuff, I see that they follow what he's done.
I'm Bill Butts, and I've been a member of the Forever Resorts team for 25 years. But what I'd like to do now is kind of share an experience that I had with Rex. And any of us know that travel with Rex is, it's never slow-paced. It's a dead run, and you're going all the time. We were back in Washington, D.C. For 3 days of meetings with the National Park Hospitality Association. We were up on the Congressional Hill meeting with congressmen. We were meeting with the National Park Service and with our colleagues. And we were dragging. It was 11 o'clock at night, and we hailed a cab to take us back to our hotel. And my two colleagues that were with me, we all kind of got in the back seat, and we were just exhausted, but not Rex. Rex hops in the front seat, and the first thing he starts doing is he starts engaging the cab driver. Now, this is a cab. This wasn't Uber or Lyft. Not exactly a clean cab either, but he didn't care. He wanted to know about this cab driver, and he starts asking about his family and where he was from. And the cab driver said, "I'm from Nairobi and Kenya." And Rex said, "Really?" He goes, "Have you ever heard of Forever Living Products?" And the cab driver is startled, and he's almost incredulous. And what was more incredulous to us in the back seat is what happened next, because the cab driver grabs his cell phone, and he's driving too while he's doing this, grabs his cell phone and dials a number, and he's calling his sister. And his sister isn't across town. She's across the world in Nairobi. And you see, his sister is a Forever Living Products FBO. And of course, it was just, she screamed. The cab driver goes, "You're not going to believe who's in my cab. Rex Mon." And she goes, "Rex Mon." And we could hear it through the phone. And so for the next 10 minutes, the cab driver, of course, hands Rex his phone, and he's engaged with this FBO in Nairobi. And you know, I tell you, that was 10 years ago. And over the years, we have, my colleagues that were in that cab, we've shared that story and laughed. But as I've thought, I said, the real story wasn't the experience that we had with the FBO in that car. The experience was that we had been on the run for 3 days. We were exhausted. And how many of us would have gotten in a cab and wanted to reach out and connect with the cab driver? But that, to me, is the essence of Reksa Mouna. He genuinely cared for anyone. He wanted to help everyone improve their health and their well-being, and he wanted them to be happy. And he wanted to do anything he could to make that happy. So as I close, I just want to say that that was the essence of Reksa Mouna, and the world needs more people like Reksa Mouna. If we had that, what a wonderful place it would be, because he touched the lives of countless individuals, including a cab driver from Nairobi in Washington, D.C. Rex, we love you.
Reksa's passion for national parks and the preservation of their lands started well before he founded Forever Resorts in 1981. But as his company grew, so too did his opportunities to take up causes near and dear to his heart. Rex served as chairman of the Conference of National Park Concessioners for many years. He was appointed by President Ronald Reagan to serve as one of 15 members of the President's Commission on Americans Outdoors, which launched initiatives ranging from the National Scenic Byways Program to the National Greenways Initiative and public-private partnerships vital to supporting visitors to national land systems for healthy outdoor fun. His enthusiasm and experiences made him a leader in that effort. It's true that a part of Reksa's heart never left Samoa, and 30 years after he first landed there, Rex made a triumphant return to the island in 1988. This time, he was leading a delegation as chairman of the NPC, and he had a bold idea to establish the first U.S. national park outside the borders of the 50 states. To make his case for the park, Rex addressed an audience of chiefs, orators, and local government officials. The crash course in language immersion decades earlier held strong, and Rex was able to communicate in perfect Samoan the wide-ranging benefits of the project. On October 31st, 1988, the National Park of American Samoa was officially established.
Hello, we're coming to you from the National Mall in Washington, D.C., one of the units of the National Park System. The National Park System attracts 300 million visits every year, and concessioners like Forever Resorts help many of those visits be exceptional. I'm Derek Crandall. I had the fun of meeting Reksa Mouna 40 years ago. Oh, the memories. His eyes, his rings, his enthusiasm, his intellect, and his heart. What a wonderful, wonderful human being. In 1983, we had the fun of inviting George and Barbara Bush to camp out in Glacier National Parks. They spent 3 days out there, and Rex was a wonderful co-host. He built a relationship with George Bush that was based upon having a marvelous woman in their lives, Barbara and Ruth, and a deep pride in their families. We had fun, we hiked, we boated, we fished, and we had just a marvelous time. The next year, in 1984, President Ronald Reagan asked Reksa Mouna to join me and 13 other people on the President's Commission on Americans Outdoors. We were led by then Tennessee Governor Lamar Alexander, and our colleagues on the commission included Mo Udall and Wyoming's Malcolm Wallop, the CEO of National Geographic Society, and other distinguished Americans. We traversed the country, listening and crafting a blueprint to try to keep Americans associated with their great outdoors. But we continued to work on the recommendations, and Rex came back to Washington repeatedly and met in the Oval Office and the Roosevelt Room and the U.S. Capitol Rex was such a magnificent force in all of our lives. Dear Lord, thank you so much for Rex Mouna. We loved him as a mentor and as a friend. He's left his imprint indelibly on America's great outdoors. Let's turn now to another recreation industry leader, Jerry.
I'm Jerry Gabriel, CEO of Guest Services, a fellow concessionaire of Forever Resorts. Every once in a while, somebody comes into your life that makes a significant impact. And that was certainly the case with Rex Mouna and me. I first met Rex when he was chairman of NPHA. And to me, Rex was larger than life. He had such a command for the room. He had so much knowledge, and he had passion. Rex had a passion for the National Park Service. He loved the competitiveness of bidding on national parks because he felt that it brought out the best in his team. And that in turn meant that the visitors to the national parks were going to have the best possible experience. Rex was deeply loved and will be sorely missed. And with that, I'll turn it over to Howard.
Hello, I'm Howard Feldman, the retired chairman and founder of Van S. Feldman in Washington law firm. But I want to tell you a story today about Rex, which personifies the individual he was. He called me from Phoenix and said he was flying up to Washington and that he wanted to talk to me. And we had dinner that night. And our friend, that first client we had in the concessions business, had passed away. He had become a very close friend of Rex, and they worked together in the National Park Service Association. He said to me, Howard, I want you to help me. I promised my friend that if anything happened to him, I would take care of his employees. You've got to help make it happen. I said, Rex, in law school, the first day, they taught us that you can't have conflicts of interest, and this is the greatest conflict of interest. I represent both companies and work with the Park Service. He said, Howard, I know about conflicts. I will waive any conflict we have to. You do the rest. Let's get it done. That was Rex, quintessential Rex. So we got it done, actually. Rex purchased the concessions of his friend. It guaranteed the employment of those individuals in those concessions. And the most interesting thing is that the funds that Rex sent to the predecessor concessionaire were used by the very enlightened board, which is a nonprofit, basically as a foundation to build infrastructure projects in those parks. So the Park Service also gained a lot in this transaction. It was a win-win for Rex, for the previous concessionaires' employees, and for the National Park Service. But the story really is that Rex lived up to his commitment. And everyone knows that if Rex gave a commitment, it was the gold standard commitment. Thank you.
The Forever Resorts footprint extends to more than 20 properties in South Africa. Rex was able to combine his passion for land, animals, and people into both a Forever Resort and a hotel management institution called the Forever Academy, affectionately referred to as the hub of knowledge. South Africa was truly one of Rex's most treasured places in the world. After each trip there, he'd proudly show off dozens of pictures he took of animals, including his favorite baby rhinos. Rex expanded into South Africa because he saw the opportunity to share his love for the hospitality industry and the great outdoors with another nation that had so much to offer in both areas. He would help the people there reach their potential through training to grow skills in business, technology, and life. His legacy on the continent lives on through the next generation of highly trained professionals shaping the future of hospitality.
To all our Forever family across the world, we wish you greetings from South Africa. My name is Eugene van Jaarsveld, and I am the Managing Director of Forever Resorts South Africa. On behalf of the entire team, we wish to extend our heartfelt condolences to Ruth, Sony, Greg, Todd, and our entire Forever family in the US and around the globe. Our thoughts and prayers are with each of you during this time. Today, we join you in celebrating Rex's life and the many lives which he touched throughout his time in South Africa. I had the pleasure of meeting Rex for the first time about 18 years ago, when he had purchased all the Forever properties under the Forever Resorts South Africa brand. What immediately struck me was his warm personality, incredible knowledge, and his ability to light up the room with his smile. Since then, we have built up a wonderful friendship over the years, which I will always cherish. Rex was a humble man with a kind and gentle soul who was greatly respected and loved by us all. Rex's love for South Africa and our people was in so many ways exceptional. I have fond memories of his visits to our various properties and how happy it always made him to see our team, how he would remember each person and greet them by name, and how he always made the time to speak with everybody. Rex was the very essence of compassion. His joy for life transmitted wherever he went, and we have learned so much from him in the past years. It was precisely because of his passion, good humour, and taking time to notice the little things that we loved him so. During the times we spent together in South Africa and the US, I always noticed how Rex was at peace when he was surrounded by nature and wildlife, which he loved dearly. He deeply cared for the conservation of biodiversity at our various properties and made a significant impact during the past 18 years in our country. Today, Forever Resorts, lodges, hotels and retreats remains one of the top tourism groups in South Africa, where local and international tourists from across the world have the opportunity to enjoy the scenic beauty and abundant wildlife in our nature reserves. Rex further made a significant impact through his investment in the Forever Resorts Academy, which assisted students from local disadvantaged communities to gain skills and obtain employment opportunities in tourism and hospitality sector. Given the passion of his life, the scope of his accomplishments, the adoration by many in our country, we will always remember Rex as an icon, smiling and serene. There is a word in South Africa, Ubuntu, a word that encapsulates Rex's greatest gift, his recognition that we are all bound together in ways that are invisible to the eye, that we achieve ourselves by sharing ourselves with others and caring for those around us. In his loving memory, we thank Rex for his immense contribution to South Africa. He will forever have a place in our hearts, and may his legacy live on forever. We love you dearly, Rex, and we will miss you. May your soul rest in peace.
But there was still more to explore. Even though Rex's career was taking off at Del Webb, he had a vision for his own journey. All he needed was an opportunity that would allow him to be in the driver's seat. Enter the world of aloe vera. The seed that would sprout into forever living products was planted one day in 1978 when Rex brought home a tiny bottle of lotion. "This," he said, "is our new business." Rex had expressed interest in the direct sales business model before, but had never found a product he thought would be a good fit. When he came across this bottle, he immediately flashed back over a decade ago to that water skiing trip and the plant that helped him recover from pain. Here was aloe vera popping up in his life again, right when he needed it most. So Rex did the brave thing. he left Del Webb for good in 1980 and focused on selling aloe products out of his garage in Tempe. From the very beginning, he believed he had a revolutionary plan to offer the best consumable products to the public that not only promoted lasting wellness, but it could change personal fortunes. Rex was involved in every area of the company. He designed packaging. He was never afraid to get his hands dirty or boots muddy in the aloe fields. He delivered products and made sales presentations near and far. By 1981, Forever was doing $1 million in sales in 5 different countries, and people the world over were drawn to the man in charge and his principles of kindness, honor, and the willingness to chase ideas on the road less traveled. In 1983, a devastating deep freeze wiped out Rex's entire supply of aloe vera in Texas. Through this difficult season, Rex was determined to honor his commitments to the people who relied on Forever by making sure he never lost any aloe again. He purchased as much land as he could in the weather-safe Dominican Republic and quickly got the business back on track. The growth of new aloe was a perfect symbol for Rex's resiliency. With the plant safe, the business flourished. Rex moved the company to its Scottsdale headquarters, and soon, Forever Living Products became the largest aloe vera grower, producer, and seller in the world. From the garage to global impact, that was the power of Rex.
Hello, my name is Elvira Ruiz. I am lucky to be one of the managers at Forever Living Products, my home for over 40 years. Forever was very important to me and to my husband Roberto. When I first met Rex, he impressed me with his intelligence and ambition. He had thousands of business owners, but he treated every one of us as an individual. He made you feel like you were the most important one. This was one of the special qualities of Rex. No matter who he was speaking to, he made you feel special and unique. He always counseled and pushed me to succeed. He helped me every step of the way. Rex encouraged me to branch out, to start my own groups, and to run my own meetings. With Rex's guidance and support, I went from being a housewife to being the first triple diamond manager. I appreciate that he saw my desire to succeed, and he gave me the tools to achieve it. Rex and Ruth will always have a special place in my heart. Rex was more than the founder of Forever Living. He was my mentor, my teacher, and most of all, my great friend. I will miss him very much. Gracias, gracias, Rex.
Well, I hope you're all enjoying the show so far. So many memories, so many opportunities to reminisce, so many reminders. But here I am sitting with Navaz Goswala, and a lady that needs no interruption. You've been at Rex's side for over 44 years. Can you believe that's even possible?
Yep, that's right.
Can you imagine?
As I've jokingly said, I was 5 when I started working for him, but that's probably not true. But it's a stretch anyway. But
I think it's fair to say that you, of all people, were the closest to Rex. He called you, I know he called you constantly. He confided in you, he talked to you, he respected your opinion, he asked for your opinion, he trusted you with every aspect of his professional life. And what was that like to be so close to Rex from the very beginning to the point now?
It was really interesting because I've worked since I was 16. And so I've worked for many different companies, both in Pakistan and then also in Canada, where I lived before I moved here. And the interview with Rex was just different. I mean, he's just so powerful when you enter the room, you know, I mean, he's like, just takes over and he grabs your attention right there. And obviously I was evaluating which company I wanted to work with as much as he was evaluating whether I would fit the bill. And the interesting thing was that I got 2 jobs on the very same day, the same afternoon were offered to me. And of course, then the dilemma of which one should I be taking. And my husband Darius said to me, just go where your heart tells you. And definitely my heart told me that Rex is the person I want to work with. I just felt that connection right from the very beginning. And frankly, he had more confidence in me than I had in myself. My first job in America, you know, you're trying to say, am I going to do things right? I spoke a little bit, like even my words like check, I wrote C-H-E-Q-U-E instead of check. And Rex said, don't change that, just keep it that way, you know. So he was just so supportive of everything. And of course you can do it. Yes, you can get it done. And then even when you did something, you know, he was always like very, very grateful, very thankful. So Rex surrounded himself with, you know, people he trusted. And then he gave them the leeway to go out and do things, you know. And also the other thing is he's always looking for other people's opinions. It's not like I own the company, I'm the boss. It was always a team. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a humbling experience to work for him. He didn't have any, you know, he didn't hold himself out as I'm the boss. He was Rex to everybody who met him, whether you're 5 years old or 100 years old. I mean, he was Rex, everybody on the staff. And he just was so endearing because he truly cared. And I think that's what made him so very special and made my work experience so fabulous with him because, and we connected, we absolutely connected, you know. And yes, he was calling me from all around the world.
I remember.
And that's right. And then the kids have said, when we're on vacation, he stops every payphone, you know, to pick up the phone. I'm like, oh, that's partially my fault, right? Because he's always connected. But I think the experience has been fabulous. I mean, because of him, forever's in my DNA. Oh, yeah. Become, you know, who I am forever, and that's kind of what it is. But what an amazing individual to work for and learn from. And his entrepreneurial spirit and allowing me to participate in all the things he was doing and get people friendly in the world, work with people around the world, work with companies and attorneys around the world. It was quite an amazing experience, and I've grown so much from it.
Well, what a beautiful tribute,
yes,
you know, to a great man. But I'm going to cut it up a little bit, if that's all right. You mentioned, because I know you made it almost sound like the decision was the little easier than it was, because I know you've explained to me before that you had the choice between, was it Prudential?
Prudential Insurance,
and I know that that was a big draw because, you know, they had a great name in Pakistan and around the world, and, you know, and you had that opportunity to step into what was normal, not what was normal, but what was traditional.
Right.
And then here you've got this guy who's charismatic and all of the things you described about him. Tell us a little bit more about that conversation that went on with Darius, because I know that he was follow your heart, and I get that in retrospect, it sounds easy, but it's not though, right? To make that kind of decision.
Yeah, considering we just moved into the Phoenix, into the valley, we knew nobody here. We came because my husband, you know, had to work to do his internship with the county hospital here, so we had nobody really to go back on. And Prudential was something like you mentioned. We knew Prudential from Pakistan. They were around the world, and we knew that. And we knew the stability of the insurance company, but there was just something, the charisma, the connection. And that is what our conversation, my conversation with Darius was about that, you know. As much as we know Prudential, and Del Webb is an unknown, we'd never even heard of Del Webb at that point in time, but just that connection was so strong that he said, you have to go with your gut, you have to go with your heart. There is just no other way to go with this and here I am.
44
plus years
and you
later.
still remember the draw.
Oh yes, you know, absolutely.
Which is
absolutely.
Really powerful. You also mentioned something that resonated with me, and I've seen it across the world, and this idea that Rex believed in you more than you believed in yourself.
Yeah.
That's a very unique observation about Rex, because he had that capacity. Where did that come from, do you think, and why was it so powerful?
Rex believed in teams, and Rex loved people, and whatever he did in life, Forever Living Products to start out with, he did because he wanted to make a difference in the people's lives. And therefore, he gave you the leeway you know, to go out and show what you were capable of doing. And that was important to him. And through that, also with the FBOs, he showed the same thing. That, you know, there were housewives, there were taxi drivers, there were people that became, and nobody even dreamt that they could do their own business. How many people have said, I did not know I could go speak in front of a crowd of people, right? How many people have said that? I mean, the first time I had to speak, Rex was known to suddenly throw you out there to the wolves, I would say, and say, you have to go speak right now. And the first time I know I had to speak the next day, I did not sleep all night. I like fretted so much over this. It's like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go out there. And I know that the FBOs will relate to that. Most of them will, with the fact that we don't want to do this. And now it's just like it becomes a part of you. The confidence that is partially forced onto you, and that you learn from it and you gain them. But he was always supportive. No matter when you came off the stage, he was always like, high five, well done, you did great, you were amazing. So that really helped boost your confidence.
That's a great point, because even though you may have messed it up, you know, and we all have, right?
Right.
You know,
Right.
he'd always come and he'd be the first one there.
Right.
Good job, man. Good job, man. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
and I remember those, and it's amazing how that instills confidence for you to go on and
Sure.
and to succeed more and more.
Yeah, he was still building on your strengths, you know. I mean, he didn't really make a big deal about your weaknesses. You were the one who beat yourself up more than he ever did, and so that was amazing.
In our discussions with Ruth and the family earlier, they talked about Rex's courage. I know that's something you've commented about a lot over the years, is there's times when, you know, you would advise to pull out or to don't do that, and yet he plows forward. What did you learn from that example of courage, and how did you apply that into your life as a mother, your life as an executive and a businesswoman? How did that example help you succeed?
Rex always took chances. But the key was he didn't look at it as they're taking a chance. He just was so set on his goals, on what he wanted to do, that to him it can be achieved. It is not a setback. You know, I mean, even if there were any issues we faced, okay, how do we work around that situation? So it was kind of so interesting for me that even when things were difficult, when going like, okay, we need to send more money to this country, or we don't, you know, we've got this issue, we can't get the product approvals, and some of the countries took 2 or 3 years to get product approvals. It's like, do we continue spending this kind of money without a single penny coming back in? And the question was, of course. We are committed, we've told people we're going to do it, and that was really something Rex was very big on. If he gave his word that he was going to do it, no matter what it took, he was going to do it. And that was an amazing experience for me too. And obviously, I learned so much from that too, that I could apply that in my own life and as I raised my family. So, very.
We saw glimpses of that, you know, traveling with him when he would never say, someone say, sorry, the plane's left or whatever. That was no. For everyone else maybe, but not for me, you know. Yeah. That was a real treat to be with him and to feel of that energy. It almost felt like he could change the way that the world was turning.
The dynamics, right, of the situation, because he wasn't going to take a no for an answer. Yeah. I mean, to him, it's like, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to go drive here or through the middle of the night? And through in Nigeria, they did across that because they're flying across Africa. It's like, oh my God, most people wouldn't, and he was so confident, we are going to go. So that's Rex, and that's his psyche, and that's his just go grab it, grab the opportunity, and make the most of it.
It's like Sony said, he's always, what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next? It's very true. You worked with him for 44 years. Sat by him, listened to him, all the ups and downs, all of the goods, the bads, and you know, like we said, you know him as good as anyone. What are you going to miss about him?
Everything. I can't pick one thing that he was such a presence, right? I mean, I spent more waking hours with him than I did with my family, when you think about that, right? So it's hard, like everything, like he's not going to be at the end of the phone, you know, he's not going to be calling me. Even through COVID, you know, I saw him at least once a week, twice a week sometimes. He'd pick up the phone, so what's going on? He cared about the people. He'd ask, is everybody okay? Is everybody healthy in the office? What's going on? He was always like, tell me more. What can I do to help? I wish I could do more to help. So every aspect of it, the way he cared about the people, the way he loved people, the way he got along with people, you know. And in one thing that really stands out in who Rex was is his ability to forgive. It was huge.
Yeah,
I mean, so many people have hurt him and the company over the years, but not a bad word has been said about any of them, even through lawsuits or whatever else. He did not dwell on that. And that has been a huge lesson for me to say, you know, you have to forgive and you have to forget and put it behind you, because you're doing more harm to yourself by carrying that burden and that baggage than just dropping it and letting it go. So that was a big lesson for me.
Wow. You know, over this hour and a half or so of this presentation, we hear all these adjectives to describe Rex, and I suppose at the end of it we would have built some picture, you know, of who Rex really was. And one of them that is poignant and powerful is his capacity to forgive.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I'd witnessed that so many times, and you'd be, you know, and you're right, people that stole from him, or, you know, and he'd always be, let's just move on, you know, and that's a beautiful thing. I asked the Mouns earlier about legacy and what the FBOs can do to continue Rex's legacy. And if I asked you that question, in your opinion, knowing Rex so well, what do you think that we need to do in order to continue that legacy and to make it grow?
Help people, right? That's all that Rex wanted us to do, is help people, make a difference in the lives of the people. And how do you do that? By making sure they know about the opportunity, about our great products. I was telling Greg the other day, he's sitting up in a chair now where he can see the entire world and not in his office. So we all had better carry forward that legacy, because we are being watched. And so we need to make sure that we do what he's taught us for all these 44 years now and carry it forward. And it's amazing, because when you see the messages from the FBOs, thousands of those, they're all saying the same thing. We've got to make Rex proud, and we've got to carry this legacy forward. And I think we're all committed to doing that.
Love it. Love it. I love it. Well, folks, we've had a few minutes with Navaz, one of Rex's closest friends and confidants, and thank you so much for being so personal and so open at such an obviously difficult time. I suppose as we consider what our lives look like and what the future looks like for us, and imagine us 44 years from now or 80 years from now when someone's talking about us, the question should be, what would they say? And if they would say something even half as nice as this, we'd probably had a successful life. So ponder that as we move on to our next guest.
Rex never hesitated to want to reach new places and introduce others to forever. After all, he believed health and wellness had no borders. As the love for the product spread, expansion was only natural, though it came a lot faster than anyone, including Rex, imagined. Each rally or event would bring new people into the business, and those people had family members across the world who were also interested in what Rex had to say. What started in Rex's garage expanded over the course of 40 years to reach 160 countries and millions of people selling products under the Forever name. Across every continent, today's Forever carries the strength and the foundation Rex built all those years ago.
What do you say about a man who has everything? Not has everything, is everything. Everything that is wonderful, everything that's loving, everything that's noble. He's Rex Mouna. And my name is Amarjeet, retired country manager for FLP India. I had the privilege of knowing Rex for many, many years. I had the honor of spending time with him, personal time with him. And what was amazing about this person was he would put his arm around anybody. It didn't matter to him what your background is. You're a human being. So you are full of love. But we had an opportunity in Jodhpur. Jodhpur is a Maharaja country. And in Jodhpur, we had a rally over there. And the Maharaja was staying in the palace itself. And he does not give interviews. But Nikita managed to arrange an interview with him. And we were told, you have 15 minutes with him. We met the Maharaja. And after over an hour, we were still talking and drinking tea and exchanging views about the world. And that was an amazing experience for me personally, because the man is such a humble person. While we were in Jodhpur, he noticed a street vendor playing his musical instrument, and he was so fascinated by it. Long and short, he started taking instructions from the street vendor, and it was so fascinating to watch him. He was having fun, he was joyful, and he was enjoying it. And what is more important, he was making the street vendor feel like a Maharaja. It's all about taking risks in the world whenever you want to do something amazing. This man, Rex, he took the risks, but for everybody else. He took the risks to make sure that you and I did not take any risks. He wanted to make sure that everything is stable for everybody else. But he would always dig deep into his pockets to make sure the distributors are happy, the company is reliable, the company is trustworthy, the company is ethical. That was his philosophy. At a personal level, I feel very humbled and honored to have been part of this tribute to Reksa Mouna. Because of you, we were able to enrich lives of many millions of people in India, where people in India would only earn a few $1,000s a month and now becoming millionaires. That is the power of forever. That is the power of love. That is the power of you, Reksa Mouna, the legend. Thank you so much.
In the early days of Forever, Rex relied on third-party suppliers to provide him with the aloe needed to make his products. The aloe freeze made him realize it was time to take control. In addition to the enormous aloe field in the Dominican Republic, Rex purchased more land in Texas and Mexico and opened the Aloe Vera of America facility in Dallas for manufacturing. He also opened a facility in Phoenix for all the nutraceuticals, a massive distribution center in the Netherlands, and dozens of other strategic buildings worldwide. Why make this massive investment? Because Rex was guided by one principle: to make the very best product possible and get it in the hands of people so they have the best opportunity to thrive. All this effort took machines and money, sure, but for Rex, it was always about the mission to make his company change lives for millions of people worldwide. Rex knew he had the best aloe in the world.
Hi, my name is Elma Gwynn, and I'm the Director of Regulatory Affairs for Aloe Vera of America, the manufacturing facility for Forever Living products. I had the gracious pleasure of meeting Mr. Mouna in 1982 when I began my tenure with the company nearly 40 years ago. Now, one of my fondest and most precious memories of Mr. Mouna was his respect and caring ways that he had for others. Rex, regardless of if he was meeting you for the first time or if he'd known you forever, he always had kind words to say. And he always let you know that he was interested in you and your role in the company. On his many visits to Ava, he would greet every employee, starting with the receptionist and not stopping until he had reached the manufacturing area. He never forgot a name or a face. He left long-lasting memories on me and everyone that he knew. You know, Rex was a great and powerful leader. To me, his teaching was far greater than what you could find in any leadership academy. From him, I learned, being in a leadership role myself, that being a great leader you're only as great as the people that work for you. I work hard to help my people become the best that they could be, the same as Rex did for me. When it comes to manufacturing, Rex ensured that the company produced, introduced, and sold the best quality products. Quality was number one with him. He and Ruth would test every product before it went to market. And when they gave it the green light, they knew that the FBOs and customers would enjoy and love it as well. He believed in state-of-the-art manufacturing and testing equipment, as well as innovative packaging and designs. Forever Manufacturing, being among the best, is a legacy that Rex will leave behind. Rex had a sparkle about him that gave people around him a glimmer of hope, that there was light at the end of the tunnel. He knew that the road would not always be easy, but if you worked hard, dedicated your time and energy, the reward would be meaningful and valuable. Rex, thank you for your leadership and for enabling me to be all that I could be. I honor you, and I will miss you with a forever and undying love.
Rex was a cowboy at heart and never steered too far from his roots. He knew that ranch life would never make him rich, but there was something about the work ethic of a cowboy that he respected. He managed to incorporate ranching, animals, and cowboys into his life however and whenever possible. This love for the land led him to becoming one of the largest ranch land owners in Arizona. The sprawling white fenced pastures were just one of his picturesque tributes to the Western novels he had admired by Zane Grey. Because, after all, you can take the boy out of the Idaho farm, but try as you might, you could never take the Idaho farm out of the boy. Only Rex could spend the day riding horses with ranchers, then fly off to an event with 10,000 business owners or join a meeting with a president or a prince. Rex was truly a man for all seasons and all stripes, and his adaptability and power of his connection were undeniable gifts.
My name's Don Glasgow. I'm the general manager for Mon Ranches. I came to work for Rex and Ruth 30 years ago. After spending a little time here, I realized that Rex was a man I wanted to work for the rest of my life. He was a really busy man, and most of my time spent talking to him was on the phone, and always his first question was, how much rain did you get? It might not have rained for 3 months, but it was, how much rain did you get? The next question. He loved wildlife, so the next question was, how many deer have you seen? How's the quail population? What about the elk? Has Matt seen any big bulls up at Fort Rock? And it would always end with a lot of snakes. Don't tell Ruth about the snakes. Sorry, Ruth. We have a tradition in the cowboy world. A riderless horse represents one of our fallen heroes. And Rex was a hero to many. And we will lead him off into the sunset. You can look for that a little bit later. Rex really loved the ranches. He always told me, Don, we don't have to be the biggest, but let's be the best. So Rex, rest easy, because as long as we're here, Mon Ranches will still be the best.
Just as Rex's enterprising prowess was international, so was his philanthropy. Rex loved giving back through local, national, and international endeavors. His favorite organizations included Arizona State University and BYU, the Robert Louis Stevenson Foundation in Samoa, and the Arizona Burn Foundation.
Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Foster. I'm Medical Director of the Arizona Burn Center Valleywise Health, and I'm also a board member of the Arizona Burn Foundation. I've been a member of the Arizona Burn Foundation for many, many years, and this was an organization that Rex contributed to significantly over a 15-year period of time. And the Arizona Burn Foundation's mission and function is really to support burn survivors and their families in whatever way they require. And burn injury is a lifelong injury, and the needs of patients are really tremendous. And his contributions to the Arizona Burn Foundation literally touched thousands of lives and thousands of families and made a profound impact on these patients and their families. I'm sorry that my professional partner, Dr. Daniel Caruso, is not here to participate in this. He would have really loved this. He passed away several years ago, and he and Rex were very good friends. And I know that he would really have liked to have expressed his gratitude to Rex. It's been my honor to know him, such as I did, and I'm very grateful for all the contributions that he has made to our organization and to burn patients and their families. And again, it has made a big difference in their lives. Thank you.
Rex's mission in Samoa never really ended. It only gave him the desire to return to the island and do more. He would restore the memory and legacy of one of his favorite authors, Robert Louis Stevenson, and give the tiny South Pacific nation and its people a piece of their history back, while providing them with the ability to share it with the world. In 1992, Rex answered the call to restore the former home of Stevenson, known as Tusitala, the people of Samoa, and turn it into a museum and island destination. He was involved in the restoration of Tusitala's beautiful home and gardens for almost 3 decades, and was honored to have been able to report stewardship over such a national treasure. Rex returned to Samoa dozens of times over the course of his life and did not limit his work to the museum. He funded a school and built a library which bears his name. He financed a clean water project and restored a historic cemetery, and worked as part of a team that helped save 30,000 acres of low-lying rainforest on the Samoan island of Savaii. On the day the Rainforest Reserve opened, and in recognition of his many contributions to the people of Samoa, the title of High Chief Tilafanga was bestowed upon Rex by the people of Samoa. By all accounts, Rex is the first and only foreigner to be given this prestigious designation. Tilafanga, Rex Mon, had yet again been embraced by the people of what was once a foreign land.
What an honor for me and a distinct pleasure this morning on this beautiful winter's morning here in Samoa, in front of the Villa Samoa, the museum that we are also proud of, to speak on behalf of the chairman of the Board of Trustees and members of the board, as well as Margaret and the staff here at Wailima, to greet you on this very special day. And we'd like to also express our sympathies for the passing of a very, very special person in Tilafanga Rex Mon, a dear friend to many of us, and a person that has been described as one of the champions of goodness. And for his passing, and would like to this morning pay tribute to him and his memory. And we're here, the Leififi College, we're here to sing Farewell, Goodbye My Whilingi, and And it's interesting that their motto was learn to serve. And that is exactly what you did. And we are honored to have been part of your legacy. Immanuel Malanga, and God bless. Faftai, Soifua, Mayamanuia.
Wherever Rex went in the world, he made it a priority to embrace the full story of the place and its people, the real people. Rex loved traveling away from tourist hotspots and into communities where he ate what the locals ate, visited residents in their homes, and immersed himself in local culture and customs. He believed this was the best way to get to know the names and faces that told the story. And Rex always managed to bring a small or large token from each unique place back home to display and share with people who might never have the same opportunities to explore. He was always inquisitive, had a bend toward the eclectic, and always journeyed in pursuit of a great story. Rex's incredible respect for local culture was perhaps most apparent in his many restoration projects. He was a historian by every sense of the word, and took every opportunity to learn more about the living histories of the buildings he purchased. He wanted to make these places vibrant again so that others could be made aware of their story. Preservation, restoration, and collections were at the core of everything that intrigued him and led him to have a to-do list like no other. But Rex would restore more than just buildings. He had the power to restore people's faith in humanity. From the youngest of children to the most cherished and respected elders, Rex knew that it was the people that made these historic places come to life. He knew that sharing these places was priceless. He took joy in knowing that he had a small piece in creating memories. He was able to play host to more than one picture-perfect wedding in an Irish castle and provide that once-in-a-lifetime African safari experience to an up-and-coming FBO, or even just have our beautiful and historic offices serve as the backdrop to a group of children performing traditional dances in the streets of Singapore. Yes, he knew it was always about the people. Though we've reached the final page of this voluminous story about the incredible boy from Soda Springs, this is not the way Rex would have wanted this tale to end. The biography of his one man is just the beginning of a never-ending book compiled by the millions of people that are forever. Rex would ask that you open your own page and triumphantly share your own stories of courage, dedication, and hope that you carry with you every single day. No matter what your connection is to the Forever family, you are a main character in Rex's story. And that is what makes it legendary.
Meu nome é Lino Barbosa.
E o meu nome é Barbosa.
Vou lhes contar como conhecemos o Rex. No início das nossas viagens, estávamos perdidos no hotel MGM em Las Vegas. Rodamos e não achávamos nosso quarto, até que encontramos o Rex. Ele percebeu que estávamos perdidos, pegou na nossa mão, nos conduziu até o nosso quarto, mais ou menos 10 minutos de caminhada, abriu a porta, nos mostrou como é que funcionava tudo dentro do quarto e depois nos conduziu até a sua suíte para mostrar a sua suíte. Esse é o Rex que eu conheci e que reconheço. Este homem generoso, de luz, esse amigo comprometido com as nossas vidas. Um homem que nunca desistia, que nunca desistiu de nada. No Brasil, era para ele ter desistido há muito tempo, em virtude de tantas questões burocráticas que temos no nosso país. Qualquer outro empresário desistiria, mas Rex nunca desistiu. Essa lição que ele deixou para nós. Vamos continuar o seu legado. Não vamos desistir. Vamos definir um propósito nosso, assim como ele tinha o dele definido. E vamos continuar fazendo o que ele sempre sonhou em fazer. Transformar vida de pessoas.
Somos felizes e o nosso viver mais fácil, devido à sua generosidade ser infinita. Gratidão e amor eterno, Rex.
Hello, my forever friends from all over around the world. This is Keiko Kobuna from Japan. It is a great honor for me to represent Japanese FBOs to say thank you to Rex and the Rex family. First of all, I and all our Japanese FBOs are deeply appreciate the Rex brought us better health and prosperity and changed our lives to very happy ones. Especially for me, I was born with a very bad blood disease. Doctors told me that I cannot live for 40 years. But I was so lucky to know Forever in 1987. After I took Forever wonderful products, except for the dental maintenance, I never need to see the doctor for the past 34 years. Now I'm in my 70s, but I feel like I'm still in my 20s. Rex was the greatest leader and the most shining hero to me. I always wondered how a human being could be so awesome like him. He was full of energy, very powerful, but still very humble and very generous. He cared about everybody around him. He was so rich and so successful, so in general, people may think he was untouchable, but on the contrary, the real Rex is so friendly to everybody around him. The first word he only asks when we met people was, "Are you happy?" Are we happy or not? Or are we having fun or not? It's only what Rex concerned. Rex was also very proud of Forever business. I've seen him many times as he tried to sponsor new friends to join Forever. Once he even put the pen out to a kangaroo to sign up to be FBO. The day when I learned that Rex left us to travel so far away, I couldn't stop my tears all day. But we also know that although the real Rex is not here near us, but his spirits will always stay in our hearts. Every time when I wear the diamond ring and the double diamond necklace he put on me, I know he is standing by me. When we share Forever business to new friends, then Rex will come to our side. So from now on, we will change our tears to strength. We will follow your dreams and your vision and your legacy. We will share our new friends that the power of the Forever is the power of love. Million thanks to Rex and the Rex family. We love you and we thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Rex. We love you. Rest in peace, Rex. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Dunara Bai. I'm a Forever business owner in Gaborone. I'm based in Botswana in Southern Africa. In the business, I am a Sapphire manager. I joined Forever Living in June 2018, so this is my third year of impacting lives through Forever. Today, we celebrate the life of Reksa Mouna, the life of a giant indeed, the man who sacrificed everything for humanity in order to see ordinary people achieving extraordinary results. The man who walked the road less traveled in order to leave a legacy in every household, in every country, on every continent. Personally, I have never had the opportunity to meet Rex. And perhaps I am the only person speaking to you today who has never met this giant of a man. And this probably helps to empathize his greatness even more. Just think about it. I'm 1/3 of Rex's age, a totally different generation. I live over 16,000 kilometers from where he lived, in a different culture, a different world in so many ways. But he has changed my life and the lives of my family members in a very remarkable way. This is the power of Rex. So on behalf of myself, my family, the people of Botswana, the rest of Southern Africa, and for the millions of people around the world who never had the joy of meeting Rex, but still he changed their lives immeasurably, I want to say thank you from the deepest of my heart. Thank you, Rex. We are eternally thankful for his vision, his kindness, his love, his passion for humanity. We love you.
We are Dominic and Rolf Kipp. When we met Rex for the first time, we immediately noticed that he's all about people. His love for his family, his love for us as FBOs, his example, his passion and his dedication and his entrepreneurial genius have shaped us and shown us what is possible. We all had the great privilege to know Rex Mouna and to learn from him. Rex always had a clear vision and the mission to bring the best products and the most ingenious business opportunity ever to the world.
Now it is in our hands, as forever business owners, as ambassadors of Rex Mouna's vision and mission, to bring forever to every household on this planet. Let us now rise above ourselves and make forever the best and biggest network in the world and continue Rex's mission. Let's enrich the lives of billions of people and our own, and make the earth a little more beautiful. Rex, we have traveled together, we laughed together, worked together, and shared some amazing times together. We thank you for changing our life and the lives from billions of people around the world. We love you, and you are forever in our hearts. The power of forever
is the power of love.
Thank you, Rolf and Dominique, for your kind words. And I want to thank everyone who took the time today to share their thoughts about Rex. I also know that for each person who spoke today, that they represent many thousands of others who share the same sentiments. For example, I know that each one of the global leadership team have sent us your love and shared wonderful memories about Rex that they will forever cherish. As Rolf said very eloquently, it doesn't stop here. Our company was named forever by Rex. He wanted it to last forever. And the very best way that we can honor him and his legacy is to continue to work and use his memory to inspire us to work harder, go further, and fly higher than ever before. It was mentioned today about how Rex always focused on the highest quality when it came to our products. I promise you that will not change. We are committed to maintaining those high standards that Rex has instilled in this company, and we will continue to innovate and invest to ensure the excellence of our products. It was also said several times today how much he loved people and took time to engage with them and make them feel special. We can all follow his example by talking to more people. There's so much to talk about. We can talk about Rex, about our memories with him, about our great products, about our opportunity, about the ability to run our businesses from home. Even at this sad time, there is so much to be positive about. You know, in building this amazing company, Rex has developed an incredible team across the world. And I mean the workers in the aloe fields, the staff at Aloe Vera of America and Forever Nutraceuticals, the teams at Forever Direct, and in so many distribution centers and offices around the world, and the people who I spend so much time with here at the home office in Scottsdale. Every one of these people is dedicated to making you successful. We are more united than ever, more determined to provide everything you need to achieve your dreams, and we want to demonstrate this and honor Rex by laying down a challenge to all of us. And what is that challenge? It's to 2x, to 2 times, to double what we are doing now. Now, I know that's a big challenge, but you know Rex, he always set big goals. He spent his life pushing me, all of the Forever staff, and all of you to do more, be better, and never to settle for mediocrity. So there it is. We want to double our goals, double our efforts, double our reach, double our service of others, and double the love of this great company. Rex would love nothing more. And I am not just asking all of you to double. I'm going to personally double my commitment to all of you. And by way of proving that to you, I want you to know I'm hitting the road. That's right. I am traveling soon, and I want to come see all of you as soon as possible. In fact, in September, I will be heading to Europe and then to the Middle East to host a GLT summit in Dubai. And I am working on planning trips to all corners of the world in the coming months so that we can be together, we can work together, we can dream together, and of course, we can achieve together. The world needs forever more than ever before. We owe it to Rex to honor him by sharing his vision with as many people as possible. As Rex's favorite author, Robert Louis Stevenson, wrote so brilliantly, "Do not judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant." Rex was a man who planted many, many seeds. Some sprouted to form this great company founded on the values of leading with love, seeking adventure, and remaining forever grateful. For all that he planted, Rex never expected so much as a stem in return. His joy was found purely in the harvest of others. And because of that, Rex's story will live on forever.